Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Redflex after not another, but a disappointing result. Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1. A poor Arsenal team that came to defend, didn't really come to do anything, this team. It was like park the bus, poor, really, really poor football from Arsenal, but from us, equally as poor. Pogba, who we'll get on to shortly, well, he's given away apparently again. So I think it's. Should we start with the starting lineup then? Abdul,
Yeah, let's
what do you
go
think?
with that. To be fair, again, disappointing with the starting line, just like it was against Chelsea. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going way too defensive. I don't understand why he's insisting and just continuing to play Fred and McTominay in this game. It's not needed. If we're at home, we don't need two holding players. Regardless of whatever formation people thought we were playing in the first half, some were saying it was kind of a diamond. I didn't really see that, to be honest. I thought it was standard 4-2-3-1. We were playing with kind of Pogba on the left. I wasn't happy with the two holding players, to be honest. I wasn't happy with just trying to get Paul Pogba in the starting 11 just because it's Paul Pogba. It actually felt like to put him on the left side. Well, to me, it seemed like left side people saying he was the head of the diamond or whatever. For me, he was on the left-hand side. What is Paul Pogba going to do on the left-hand side? Absolutely nothing. So I'm not happy with the starting lineup at all. But to be fair, if you think about who we had on the bench, who could we actually start with? The only alternative could have been Mata. I'm not sure how fit Cavani is, so maybe if he was fit, then maybe he would have started. But I'm not happy with who we started. There's no need for Fred. There's no need for McTominay both to be in the starting 11 at home.
I think my issue with this is that, all right. I think there was a lot of pressure for United to play the same formation again. Oh, we did so well against Leipzig, so I can see why he's gone for that. But there was, like you said, there was key differences in the personnel this time. It was Pogba kept his place. Rightly or wrongly. Matic makes a difference. If you were going to play that formation, I think it has to be Matic. Like, you can't have that formation without Matic because he brings such defensive stability because he just sits there. He's not interested in progressing the ball. He just wants to sit and monitor. That's
just like
why...
after the lockdown. Yeah, after the lockdown, who we had in that team, it was Matic, Pogba, Fernandes. That worked well for me.
That's why that formation worked, because of Matic. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Fred is in great form. I'm not saying don't play Fred. I'm just saying it had to be Matic. Absolutely had to be Matic in that formation. So that's why I think we lost a little bit there. And also the difference was we had Bruno instead of Donny van der Beek. And I think Donny van der Beek is one of those players who's much more conservative with his passing. A lot of the first half, the ball was going to Bruno and he was losing the ball. He's trying the through ball. He was trying to make things happen, consistently losing the ball again and again and again. And that's why Arsenal kept coming into the game. Otherwise, Arsenal were not really in the game at all. Their counter started from the fact that we kept losing the ball because we're pushing the issue.
Are you saying that Fernandes should be dropped for the next game?
No, I'm just saying that for this particular style of where this diamond where we're defensively a little bit not as, what's the word I'm looking for? We're not like as solid compared to the 4-2-3-1. Everyone knows the 4-2-3-1, we can get 0-0s all day. Yeah. But this sort of diamond is a little bit more progressive. So if you're losing the ball higher up, then, it's coming back to the other team. So this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying Fernandes should be dropped, but I'm just saying that there should have been more people in there who are actually good on the ball and more cycling possession, because Fred wants to push it forward as fast as possible. Yeah, that's what he does. He's not really he can do a 5-yard pass, but he's not sort of, let's keep the ball, let's keep it rotating. Donny van der Beek is. Matic, again, he cycles the ball, he keeps it close. So the fact that we had two players, so McTominay and Fred, who were quite direct, and we have Bruno Fernandes, who's very direct. You've got a lot of people who are losing the ball there. So that's why if you were going to go with that formation, obviously it's great to say in hindsight, but for me, it would have been, if you want to keep Bruno at the top, yeah, no problem. But it had to be Pogba and Donny van de Beek to keep the possession, and then Matic to hold. That way you can say, right, you attacking guys, go and do what you got to do. Matic is just going to sit there. He's going to, he's going to look after the back. You lot cycle your possession, move around, do what you got to do. So that's where, I mean, like I said, it's easy to say in hindsight, but I think that we had a lot of players who are not good on the ball, who don't look after the ball, who don't keep the ball. That's my concern.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, yeah, I mean, what I'd like to say is, I think Arsenal, I mean, I don't think they were kind of trying to park the bus as such. I think they were going in really high press. I think United have historically, over the last season or two under Solskjaer, have completely struggled against teams with a high press. What they were doing, they had a line of 4 or 5 trying to get, and United couldn't get past that first line. It's mainly because our kind of back 6, so Fred, McTominay, and a back 4, are not great on the ball. And we had no one to give the ball to. And then even when we got through that first line of the press, no one who actually got the ball was able to do anything with it, because we had no one in the right positions to cause any kind of issues to us.
We didn't have enough players we didn't have enough creative
in the wrong positions.
Unlocking. Yeah. Like I said, this is what I said. Had you had Pogba, Bruno, Donny van de Beek, players who can keep the ball, players who can unlock, good movement, things like that, you're going to make something. You knew what Arsenal were going to do. They weren't coming to win. They weren't coming to do anything other than just sit there, hit us on the break. They couldn't even do that. The fact is, the only reason they did it is obviously they got a penalty. Now, talking about the formations and talking about time.
I think it's time for a rant, Usman, isn't it?
I think it's time for the Pogba rant. So, I was always a fan of the move for Pogba. United were crying out for a big name. We hadn't had a big name, a world star since obviously Cristiano Ronaldo. And for a team like Manchester United, it's very important to have one of the top players in the world in your team for, your brand recognition, to show that, look, we are a big team. We have a big player. So I understand why we did the move. Yeah, for commercial reasons, yes, no problem. Footballing reasons, again, he played very well for Juventus. I thought amazing. But now, as years have gone by and I've been in Old Trafford and I've watched Pogba, all Pogba does, now it hurts me to say this, but all Pogba does in a game is there's about 4 or 5 moments where he does some Hollywood passing. Now, if that pass results in an assist, everyone says Pogba played well. But the majority of the time, those 4 or 5 Hollywood passes do nothing. And he doesn't track well enough. He doesn't pass well enough. He's not moving well enough. You can say, yeah, he's not played in his favoured position. But I'm not having it. I'm just not having it anymore. Like, I'm not saying he's a crap player. I'm saying that he's just not for us. He's not for Manchester United. We're in a transition. Yeah, we've been in transition for 7 years, but we're in a place where we're underdogs. Like, look at Jack Grealish. Whether his team loses or draws, he has, like today they lost 3, whatever. They were 4-0 down, and it was like
3-4, I think they lost, yeah.
Yeah, so he scores, he assists. Whether they win, lose, or draw, he has a big impact in that game. Doesn't matter what position he plays in. So this is the kind of player that you want your top players to be like that. If Pogba's such a big player, regardless of wherever he's playing, he'll have an influence on the game, whether we win, lose, or draw. Like now, at the moment, whether we're winning, losing, or drawing, he's not having much of an influence. Yeah, he put a great ball in for Mason Greenwood on the weekend. Yeah, that's fine. But like I said, a Hollywood pass. And it was just so happened to fall to Greenwood, who was an amazing finisher. Like any other striker would never have finished it from that angle. Never in a million years. So he got lucky. So I've seen it time and time again. I'm sat in Old Trafford. I'm watching what he does. He gives the ball away. He does some fire, like a couple of 50, 60-yard balls per match. And that's about it. He's not bringing anything to the team. Like, for his own sake, he needs to move. Like, for his own sake. Like, if he's got any ambition at all, we've tried it for 4 years. It's not as if he's not had a chance. It's time. Not that he's a bad player. I'm sure wherever he goes, he'll do very well. He did great at Juventus. If he goes back again, he'll probably smash it again. But for us, it's time, man. Let's cash in. Let's get a Grealish. Let's get someone who's gonna dig in and have an influence. Like, I'd rather have Grealish. The fact that his team are not great, but he's the star man every single time. That's what we need, and that's why we were after him. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. He's given away how many penalties now? 3 penalties.
Yeah,
3.
I think so. I think so.
Man. Like, if you're such a liability, then why are you running into those positions? Like, there's an argument to say, oh, he shouldn't really be in those positions. It should be other people's jobs. But if you've made that run now and you're supposed to track that man, then why are you kicking in? You're a big man. Just shoulder or just shield. If he gets it past you, he gets it past you. You don't need to lunge in. Like, there's no need to lunge in at all. And he's given away for me too many now. Like, I'm done. I don't know about you, but I'm done.
Well, yeah, I do kind of agree. Maybe not to that extent. I think at the time when we signed him, I don't think there was one United fan who at the time would have said, you know what, we don't want him. He was an ex-player. I mean, he left under controversial circumstances. But I think at the time we signed him, I didn't speak to one United fan who said, you know what, we don't want the guy. So yeah,
because we thought we were going to get
I understand what you're getting.
Yeah,
I agree. No, I totally agree where you're coming from. And since then, I think what he needs is, firstly, not to have that defensive responsibility whatsoever. As you can see, he cannot defend. And in Juventus, he looked $1 million because he was playing with some unbelievable players who were actually kind of covering for him in the kind of defensive duties. And then the only time where he's been on fire is when the whole team had to be kind of based and set for him at the start of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's kind of interim spell. That's when Solskjaer decided to make him the kind of main man of the squad. At that point, he was on fire. He was playing in the position he wanted to play in. Apparently, that's the position he apparently wants to play in. And that's the only time we've ever seen him play to level that we thought he was going to reach. So that goes to show he wants to be the main man. At the moment, he doesn't deserve to be the main man in any team. And he doesn't. The way we play does not suit him. He cannot play where Bruno Fernandes plays. So he's either going to play in his unpreferred position, or if he does come on, he's not going to play well because he's not in his preferred position. I don't think he's actually deserves to play in that position in front of anybody else. Going forward, yeah, I agree. I think it is time to move on from him. Every time he comes on, or every time he starts, it seems to be all about Paul Pogba, not about the team, not about the squad. So maybe it is time to go. We've got a fantastic player just waiting in the wings, Donny van de Beek. He's waiting to play, and he could do a similar or even better job than what he's doing at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there's nothing for us to lose now. Like before, all right, yeah, Pogba gone and we'd have to play, a Jesse Lingard or Pereira. So there's no risk of that now. And I think that's the way it's going. I think that because I think we are going to lose Paul Pogba, whether it's January, whether it's summer, and then to replace him as a world star, we're going to bring in the likes of Jadon Sancho, because that's what United want. That's what Woodward will want. He wants a world star, and I think Jadon is probably the new poster boy that he can pin his hopes on. Potential Ballon d'Or candidate, etc. So it has to be now. I think I'm done with him. His performances are not great, not good enough for me. Like I said, I've seen him close hand. I'm not one of these. I'm not just watching him on TV. On TV, he actually looks good, but when you're in the ground and you're following his movement and you're sat in Old Trafford, he gives away a lot. And when he does give it away, he's not that enthusiastic to get it back, let's say. So I don't know how much more we can take of this. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the guy, I like his personality. It's nothing to do with the fact that he's flashy. I like that. I don't like quiet, unassuming people. I like that he's flash. I like that he does all his dances, his haircuts. No problem with that at all. But when it comes down to,
as long as he was doing it on the pitch, he needs to be doing it on the pitch as well.
Yeah, that's it. As long as he's doing it on the pitch, there's no problem for me. You're not going to hear a problem from me. I'm happy. But 4 years now, 5 years by the time he eventually goes, he's wasting his career, and he's. I think it's just one of those things. Like I said, no hard feelings. Just kind of move on. It just didn't work for you. You know, shake hands, see you later. You know what I mean? All you're doing at the moment is giving away penalties and talking about Real Madrid, which both things are no good.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving from him, like I said, I would have liked to have seen Donny van der Beek because he keeps hold of the ball more. If we're going to play these formations against low blocks, against poor teams, against these teams that are coming to defend, you're 100% right. I agree with you. We do not need two defensive midfielders. I understand why he wants to do it. We're trying to build a solid base from the back, etc. You know, it makes our defenders look better. Since we've had it, like our defenders have not looked shaky. So to be fair, they didn't really have much to do. There was a few little bits and bobs where there was a few passes, you know, flashed across the box from their wingers, which again was down to the formation. You knew that they rely heavily on wing play, and we played with a diamond where we only had our fullbacks to cover. We didn't have any midfielders in that space. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Like I said, a very poor Arsenal team, a team in a bad run.
Considering, they lost the last 3 or 4 games as well.
Yeah,
so that's pretty shocking.
Horrendous team.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking that Solskjaer decided to go with 2 holding plays, considering Arsenal not in form. If they were like on fire over the last couple of games, they're scoring 6-7 goals, people getting hat tricks, and they're playing free-flowing football.
You never see that anyway.
Then I can understand why 2 holding midfielders would be needed against Arsenal at home. It's not needed. Definitely not. And just
we're playing this poor Arsenal team. They've got their main strikers not scored in 5. We've given charity to him today. He's had a charity goal today. We've gifted him a goal, got his confidence back. So it's, again, like I said, a poor team playing poor tactics at our ground, and we've not been able to break them down because we've got not enough players who are good on the ball. Yeah, Fred runs around, great, no problem, but he hasn't got the passing range. McTominay just runs around, does not have the passing range. And Matic has defensive organization where he'll sit where he needs to sit. Again, doesn't have the passing range. So if you're going to unlock a defense, you're not going to do it with these people. Never, ever. You will never, ever unlock a defense playing 3 out of your 4 midfielders are not technical. They're not technical players at all. You're never going to do it. So again, maybe it was a defensive tactic, again, from Solskjaer. Didn't trust himself, thought, let's get a win, let's get a draw. That backfired in his face. The thing is, we're losing a lot of ground now in the Premier League. Like I said, it was a good chance for us, with a lot of teams struggling, for us to make up that gap. Had we won all our games in hand, I think we would have been top 3, top 4 anyway. But we're struggling
3
now.
Points behind we would have been,
Yeah, we're struggling now. That already, I think 4th is the absolute best we can do now, because we've fallen too far behind already. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I was just thinking, just in regards to what you were saying about Donny van der Beek, my view is, I don't really agree with Evra was saying. He said it 2-3 times now. We don't need him. I think United signed him because he was cheap as well. They thought at some point Paul Pogba is going to leave the club. And
like I said, what was it? One of the journalists said in it, if it wasn't for COVID, he would have gone. So maybe there was a point where they thought, you know what, it's building up now. Pogba's about to go. Let's sign his replacement. And then once he's signed, they were like, oh, he's not going now. I thought that's the case.
Which was fine, because most players who come from abroad probably need that 1 season anyway to adapt. And then within this season where he's kind of transitioning into the first team, hopefully we do get rid of Paul Pogba for a fee that we can use to sign someone that we actually need, i.e. a right winger. Not necessarily fussed if it's Sancho or not, to be honest. But yeah, we do need a right winger, because we can't have Mata playing there. We can't have Rashford playing there. He's ineffective as well. Greenwood, he's not a right winger, to be honest. He likes to cut in. He's not going to do anything there to me. What I had an issue with, whether or not it was injury related or not, is Fred went off and Matic came on. It's a like for like replacement in a way. I understand what you're saying, that Matic is defensively a better player, But if we are looking for a goal at Old Trafford when it's 0-0 and we bring on Matic for Fred, I don't understand that substitution. It makes no sense. I don't get it.
I can kind of justify it because Matic is much more disciplined in sitting back compared to the other two. So if you've got a Matic on, the rest of your midfielders can go forward knowing that Matic is going to hang back. Whereas I don't think any of the others would do it. So for me, I kind of saw the reason why, and I wasn't too fussed about that substitution because, like I said, I thought, okay, Matic sits, everyone else piles forward, but it didn't really happen.
But if that's what you're going to do, then surely you need to take off Scott McTominay then in that case, because he's going to be the same.
100%.
He's going to be in the same positions as where.
Yeah.
Where it's both for the simplest. There's no need.
If you're chasing the game,
if he comes
Scott
off,
McTominay,
Danny Van de Beek comes on for Scott McTominay, and then you go forward, and then you got a better
100%.
chance. So that for 100%. Me, I was really upset with that. I was like, you're at home, it's 0-0. We're not doing anything. Arsenal are having most of the ball. We're not creating anything, and that's the substitution we see. Yeah. So I was actually pretty fuming with that. It's not a good substitution. We did not start at the right place, as I mentioned. Very unhappy with what Solskjaer's done. I mean, I can see why he's gone for it. Just like I said earlier, that Fred and McTominay have been awesome, but can they be awesome in every game? I'm sure they need a rest. They can't play every single game, and against Arsenal wasn't needed.
They're good in games where teams are coming at us to break the play and pass it to someone who's going to counter. Having them break the play and pass it to people when the other team is defending, parking the bus, is not required. What you need in a situation against a low block is people who are going to manipulate the ball side to side, clever runs, clever movement, draw defenders out.
Plus we had no width. We had zero width. So if we're trying to break a team down, that's normally the best route, to be honest. Get the balls in the box. But again, we don't have anyone who could head the ball. So that's the problem.
Yeah, Cavani came on later on, but I think we weren't in the right place then to do anything. Yeah, I mean, width is not always, you don't always win the game by width.
It just it's another way, isn't it? Just another alternative
it's different
way
ways. You could have maybe it was time to switch back, to a 4-2-3-1 or bring on a defender and go 5-3-2 because 5-3-2 for us can be attacking. But yeah, I'm not going to say, he picked the wrong formation because every single person, or not every single person, but the majority of people out there were crying for the diamond, saying that, we need to stick to this diamond now after this 5, whatever. I've got a problem with the personnel. And again, nominate Fred run around, but in this sort of game against this sort of opposition, it wasn't needed.
Yeah, I think it's more horses for courses. Just because it worked well against one team doesn't mean it's going to work well against another team. Even though if we had everyone in the right positions, 4-4-2 wasn't probably the way to go. That's obviously in hindsight, so everyone seems to know everything afterwards. But again, just those two defensive midfielders, that first substitution, at that point I knew nothing was going to happen.
Yeah, I think Solskjaer is going defensive first and then trying to make the attacking change. Whereas I think it's got to a point now where we need to start attacking, and if it's not working, make the defensive change if we're getting overrun or overwhelmed. It's the way you look at it.
At Old Trafford, is that the Man United way? I mean, is there such a thing as the Man United way? It's a joke. It's a joke.
Obviously, if your formation is not working, then maybe bring on someone to shore it up. But our first thought should always be to attack.
Especially Old Trafford. Yeah,
I would have, like I said, the only change I would have made, or the two changes I would have made, I would have had Matic or Fred. To be fair, I'm not really too fussed. Matic or Fred, preferably Matic because he's more disciplined. And then instead of Scott McTominay, Donny van de Beek, 100%. That's the only way that we can be playing this diamond against low block teams. But anyway, we're both upset. It was a poor performance. A lot of things in the media will be pointing fingers towards our manager.
Roy Keane. Usman, did you hear what Roy Keane said? So I'm sure that some of you would have read it.
He's saying that these players are going to throw Ole under the bus. He said this before, and he's alluding to the same again. So I don't really know if it's the players. I mean, it's when it works, we're all talking, we've got a squad, this and the other. So you can't really, I mean, there's some blame on the players, but I think that we need to work on these tactics and formations and things like that. But yeah, I'm not gonna jump the gun and say Ole out after one.
No, not at this point.
Because he's
not
done.
At this point.
I think he's earned it for now. But our form in the Premier League is very concerning. Very concerning indeed. We may be doing well in the cup, but realistically, how far are we going to get?
We're not going to win the Champions League.
We're not going to win it. Really.
Yeah, I'm going to reserve my judgment on Solskjaer till Christmas. I think we do have some slightly easier games coming up. Well, after the Everton game, that's a tough game as well. But yeah, we seem to have faced a lot of big teams. I mean, they're all at home, and we seem to be struggling at home. If we were away from home, maybe we wouldn't. I mean, in a weird way, maybe we would have got more points. But it was just really flat today. Really flat.
Yeah. So, yeah. Again, I'm not going to point fingers at manager. It's one of those games. We played against a team that was all out defense. Again, the reason why we're losing most of our games now is because we're making mistakes. We're giving them the opportunity. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, you've already talked about moving forward. We're going to be playing the likes of Istanbul. Maybe it gives us a chance to tweak the formation that Ole wants to play. Everton is going to be tough unless Rodriguez still has his testicular injury, depending on how he recovers from that. So it's a sad day today, but it's not an Ole out day today. There's a lot of poor things. There was a little bit from the manager and a little bit from everyone else. But yeah, anything to say before the next one?
Just in regards to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to be honest, for those fans who seem to be kind of going from on a seesaw, Ole in, Ole out, you actually need to make your mind up. Either he's in or he's out. I know what's going to happen now. It's the same fans who were saying Ole in, Ole at the wheel, are now going to be saying Ole out. I think it's important as a kind of fan base, we stick with our manager until we get to a point where we cannot do that any longer. So I think he's earned a bit of time, maybe till Christmas. At that point, we need to again reassess where we are. And if we do need to get rid of him, then yeah, to move forward, then that's something we're going to have to do, regardless or not if he's been a legend for the club. Not to me, that doesn't mean anything. I want the Manchester United manager to be one of the best managers in the world and we've got a really good squad. He's not getting the best out of the squad, I think. It's very inconsistent.
I mean, we've had a very tough run. Probably the toughest run I've known of in a very, very long time. I don't remember playing this level of competition so early in the season. So yeah, you're right. Let's give it till Christmas. Let's see how, once we've weathered the storm. To be fair, we've only lost one out of the very difficult games. Yeah, we've lost Crystal Palace, etc. We can put that down to lack of preseason.
Spurs 6-1.
Yeah, the 6-1. So since then, this is his first loss. So let's put it into perspective. After the Everton game, I'm assuming that we can't have any much more difficult games left. So we're probably going to go on a little run. If we can stabilize our position towards the top of the table, then yeah, let's see how it goes. It's still early days. The thing is, you've got to think about it. We don't really play this formation. This is probably the third time I remember that we played this formation. We played it against Everton last season and lost 3-0. We played it again now against Leipzig and won. And now we played it against Arsenal and probably lost, not because of the formation, but an individual error. So I can't really put it down much to the formation. I mean, maybe we need a bit more time with this formation to tweak it a little bit so everyone knows what they're doing. We were very exposed on the wing. Bellerin was getting a lot of joy. Saka was getting a lot of joy against us. So things to work on. People need to know their positions, how this formation works, if we're going to continue with it.
Yeah, I think that could be an issue as well. Sorry, to put in there. Yeah, I think with the issue with the formation is, although it's great that we've got that tactical flexibility, I think at times some players might just not know where they need to be because there's so many different formations. That could be a problem. It's very flat. I mean, if Scott McTominay was playing in the diamond, he was not playing in the diamond on the pitch. No. He was always coming back to go right next to Fred. And if it was a diamond they were playing, it wasn't a diamond on the pitch.
It's supposed to be a diamond in the transition and going forward. One of the two, like Fred did it against Leipzig, he was hugging the right wing. So, but today neither Fred nor McTominay did that. So that gave Saka a lot of joy. But yeah, we could probably talk about this a lot longer, but I think we've got another review from the other two coming up later on, so we'll let them chew it over a little bit more. But yeah, we'll be back again with another review straight after the next game, and obviously the preview as well. But for now, I think that's all. But thank you for watching the Redflex, the one and only channel in the whole wide world, run by 4 Manchester United supporting brothers from Manchester. We will see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.